Hi everybody, hope you're doing marvelously well. I hope you're staying safe, happy, and above all, healthy. This is going to be a fun one because I think about a year and a half ago, about a year and a half ago, I interviewed the rather wonderful and exceptionally talented Mr. Eric Valentine. I went to his brand new studio that he had built. Well, then it was brand new. He had just built it in his new house. And he was mixing from there, and he had some incredible stuff. He had a J37 tape machine in there. He had these beautiful Strauss speakers. But one of the things that he was really freaking out about was this plugin. And the plugin is Oeksound's Soothe. And they have a new version, the Soothe2. You can, of course, win one of 3 copies of Oeksound Soothe2 as well. So I do hope you're doing well. Of course, please subscribe if you haven't already, and you can go to producelikeapro.com. You can get a whole bunch of free goodies, and of course you can read a bit more about the plugin there. So Oeksound call the plugin a dynamic resonance suppressor. Now, what I like about this idea, obviously it's like a dynamic EQ, but it's taking any frequency that seems like it's peaking just a little bit too much and dominating in the sound. How many times have you heard a vocal and you thought to yourself, oh, it's all nasal, it's all like super like piercing 3K, or there's a lot of low mid building up? Well, just the very name alone makes it seem like something I would want to use on a vocal. So I want to try on a couple of different vocals and see how it performs. So let's listen to a vocal in solo. This is from the track I was working on a couple of weeks ago, and you can download the multi-tracks to this track. It is the Gallery's Who's in the Right.
Sunny days and smiling faces, isn't that where we belong? Down a road only hope can take us.
Put that in the track.
Sunny days and smiling faces, isn't that where we belong? Down a road only hope can take us.
It's a pretty even sounding vocal, but it does have a little bit of a sunny days, like a build up at around about 600 to 700. It sounds like it's 7 and it moves down to about 6. It's dancing around that 600-700 area. I'm going to go into solo. I don't always work in solo, but I'm going to go into solo because obviously it helps illustrate how something's working. If you're new to mixing, or if you really want to hear what a plugin's doing, it makes a lot more sense to solo it. However, many of us, the great Bob Clearmountain, of course, will not solo ever, because why? In his world, it's like it's got to sound good inside of the track. So here's the default setting. The way this works is you've got this boost function here, meaning I can select any of these areas and then boost them to focus on what they're doing. It's like at 5K here, so it's really pulling up, between 2K and looks like 11K. It's like around this area here. And why is that? Well, that's because of all the de-essing that normally a vocal will need, which is obviously a very important thing. If you've got lots of high end taking your ears out, you're wearing a pair of headphones and the vocal comes in and rips your head off. That's not a pleasant thing. These days in pop music in particular, the vocal is so bright, so unbelievably bright, but there's a lot of de-essing going on. So let's see what the default does here.
Sunny days and smiling faces, isn't that where we belong? Down a road only hope can take us, singing songs of peace and love.
What's interesting, even though the focus on the default is in this area here, even around here there's a lot of low mids and stuff that's getting ducked out. So first of all, I'm going to bring this down because I don't think I need that much work done. I'm now going to bring up some of the high end there because it was just getting a little bit harsh. But then I'm also going to come over to this area here in the 600-700 where I'm hearing stuff. Widen this up a little bit and boost that. So what I'm doing is I'm asking it to do more work. As I turn it up, you'll see that the sensitivity gets stronger. So if I increase it here, so it's 12 dB. So it can do a maximum of a 12 dB cut there. Don't need to go quite that crazy. But let's have a listen and see what's happening around that 600-700 area.
Sunny days and smiling faces. Isn't that where we belong?
There's a lot of it going on there. Wah, and it's much sweeter. Let's listen with it turned off.
Sunny days and smiling faces.
Put it on.
Sunny days and smiling faces.
So it's really noticeable on that word and. It goes sunny days and smiling faces when it's in bypass. Have a listen.
Sunny days and smiling faces.
The and really jumps out. Now let's turn the Soothe on.
Sunny days and smiling faces.
A huge cut in that sort of 500-600 area that we were talking about here and before, and some 700. There's a note, a really big note on the end here, which goes to pure 700. Let's listen to it in bypass.
Without a fight, singing.
Now let's turn the effect on. See what happens in that 600-700 area.
Without a fight, sing.
I mean, that's a huge difference. It's cutting like ton of 700, then about 650, 700 afterwards. And it's just making it far more open sounding.
Without a fight, singing now. Who's in the wrong? Yeah, who's in the right?
Doing a great job, because especially a note like that, which has smashed the compressor. Let's be honest. I mean, look at it. It's annihilating the compressor here. So what's happening is it's taking that frequency that's smashing into the compressor and pulling it out quite dramatically, but it's moving with it. So it's not just like where I set like a multiband or a dynamic EQ to work on a certain area. It is doing all of this smart stuff for me. What do I love about it? Well, I love between the de-essing and that. If I increase the de-essing here quite dramatically, what I think is going to be beautiful is I can now get a EQ and brighten it. So I can brighten afterwards. So what's going to happen is all of those high mids and stuff, which are sort of like poking their head out, the Soothe is ducking them down. And then I can apply a brightness afterwards, which will basically boost the whole sound of it without pulling up those ugly frequencies.
It seems we can't move on without a fight.
In the track.
Seems we can't move on without a fight.
Really nice. I want to go to that first verse. Let's have a listen.
Sunny days and smiling faces. Isn't that where we belong?
I really want to put that at the beginning. It's a very different way to the way I'm working. So now I'm putting a normal compressor at the after it.
Sunny days and smiling faces. Isn't that where we belong? And down a road only hope can take us, singing songs of peace and love, singing now.
It's interesting, I can hear that the S's and everything, but it doesn't have that really abrasive, it doesn't have that really aggressive blow your eardrums, you know, ice pick through the skull sound. Really nice. Let's try it on a completely different vocal. Let's go to a girl's vocal and see what it does on that. So now we have a girl vocal. It's Lily Lewis, a really talented singer. Go check her out on Spotify, etc. She was in a band called Little Empire, so this is the band she used to be in.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to when my hands are full.
So what's interesting here is it's very dynamic. She was young. She may have been 18, maybe 19 years old at the time. I think she's probably only about 21 now. I'm tempted to compress it going in. Let's have a listen first of all.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to when my hands are full.
Let's stick on just an RVox before it. So we're going to hit it pretty hard.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to when my hands are full.
Yeah, that's working wonders. So what we've done is we've compressed it pretty heavily going in. So there's some words which are super quiet, which have now come up quite dramatically.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to when my hands are full.
I think I'm going to bring this here, so I'm actually, where it's high passing, I'm bringing it to the right.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to when my hands are full. You've got a right to love, but this isn't right by me. I can feel you hiding.
So I'm going to go to these low mids here again. So I feel like there's a little bit too much there.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to when my hands are full.
See, the full there is about 500, and I'm really glad that we did that little extra.
Hands are full.
Now at the moment I'm using all of the defaults here. You can change, obviously, we're on a bell, you can change a low shelf, band shelf, high shelf, band rejection, a tilt EQ. You can do all of these things. I like where it's defaulting. There's a mix control here if you think it's too dramatic.
Hands are full.
Which is interesting because obviously I can control how much is going on just by simply cutting and boosting this. There's the sharpness here of a frequency. So if you really did have a horrible, like resonant frequency that didn't move, like a beep in the middle of something, you should be able to pull it out. Might be interesting to print a 1K alongside and have the Soothe and see if you could pull it out. Now here's the depth control here. It says change between soft and hard detection algorithms. Soft mode is more transparent, easier to adjust, and more suited to dynamic material. Hard is more adjustable, can be pushed harder, and reacts more to the level of the material. Maybe if there's some resonant on something a lot more aggressive, but I think on the vocal I'm fine with the soft. The depth, I think you can get pretty carried away. Let's have a look.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to when my hands are full.
Actually, it's not as dramatic as I thought it was going to be.
You've got your other one,
Okay. So I went to the hard there, it's just really overdoing it.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to when my hands are full.
Interesting. So I'm going to bring the depth down to about 3 where it was at before.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to.
Now I'm going to bypass it.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to. You've got your other one, the one that you go to.
So it's significantly more even, but I want it to be brighter. But what is beautiful about this is it's caught a lot of those highs. So one more listen.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to when my hands are full.
It should come up a little higher.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to.
Okay, now I'm just going to grab an REQ and I'm just going to brighten here.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to when my hands are full. You've got a right to love, but this isn't right by me.
It's pretty the track.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to when my hands are full. You've got a right to love, but this isn't right by me. I can feel you hiding. I can see.
It's interesting because she's sort of like, she's right up on the mic there and it's pulling out a lot of those kind of ugly lows. I'm going to grab another compressor and we might pretty much have the sound pretty darn close. So listen.
You've got your other one, the one that you go to when my hands are full. You've got your other one, the one that you go to when my hands are full. You've got a right to love, but this isn't right by me. I can feel you hiding.
It's pretty darn amazing. If I bring it in and out, the difference on those harsh high mids is pretty dramatic. I can see why Eric really loves it. This is something that's going to get a lot of use. Let's try it on something completely disconnected. I think what could be really, really interesting is on a bass guitar. So here's a bass sound that I created. Frankly, it's quite even, but let's check it anyway. This is going to get crazy. We're going to end up using this on everything. I know they're recommending this for like mid-range and high mids, but this could get really, really scarily good. So what I have here is I have an acoustic guitar where I've been using an EQ to cut some low mids, high passing, and then I've got a de-esser to try and get rid of some of the pwing pwing going on. So have a listen to it with those two things in. There in particular. Now there's a lot of buzzes going on in that which maybe aren't going to be removable, but here it is without anything on it. This section here. I don't know if it's going to work any miracles, but let's try it. This is just factory default. But listen, that's got rid of those horrible, ugly resonances. Okay, so I'm on the system usage here. I'm just going to be silly here. So now I'm going to put it here, because this song's already mixed, so I'm just adding this. So now I've got 6 versions of it on. Basically, I'm just wondering how many instances I can get on this on a typical mix. And I've got 6 going. Well, no, I've got 7. I've got 7 of this going at the moment, and the CPU usage is pretty darn good. When something is this fun and this good and this useful, it makes me think I can use it all over the place. So now I'm really exaggerating it. because what I want to do is I want to take this REQ, turn it back on, and do this. So I'm able to get that brighter without it going bzzz. So the thing about that track is I'm playing it pretty hard, low action. I think it's got a capo on it or a capo on it, which is making it kind of buzz out a little bit. And in the track, it's not that big of a deal, but it's pretty miraculous what it's doing there. So it's a really, really fantastic plugin. Let's go to lead vocal.
Fade into the background.
Okay, so we did a lot of stuff using a lot of fun plugins. Let's go and grab the Oeksound.
Fade into the background.
Get some of those low mids.
Every turn I spiral down. Head and hands hard on the floor. No one sees me.
Okay. I like how quick this is. It's evened it up already for me.
Fade into the background. Every turn I spiral down. Head and hands hard on the floor. Fade into the background.
A little bit of compression. Let's put the RVox afterwards. Turn that back on.
Fade into the background. Every turn I spiral down. Head and hands hard on the floor. No one sees me anymore. Get in your place, put on a face and pretend like nothing's wrong. Nowhere to live, got more to give than you will ever know. I'm on fire.
Pretty darn good. Super quick, no science involved in that. I was just playing it by ear. I got rid of some of those excessive low mids in her vocal, which were, you know, nice, but a little excessive.
Fade into the background.
Got tons of my vocal effects going on there.
Fade into the background. Every turn.
Listen to it dry.
Fade into the background. Every turn I spiral down.
It's nice.
Fade into the background. Every turn I spiral down. Head and hands hard on the floor. No one sees me anymore. Get in your place, put on a face.
Really nice. I haven't even explored some of the details you can do with this plugin. So that was fantastic. Very simple to use. I was tempted to go and find some double bass. We'll have to pull out some other hard drives. You know, bass lines where occasionally get those kind of wolf tones. What I'm used to doing is boosting and cutting and doing a lot of control with great plugins like the MV2. Huge fan of that, where you can boost the low level stuff and the high level stuff and kind of bring it together. But I suppose what is interesting about this is it should be able to preserve some of the dynamics as well, because it's not going to just bring up all the low level stuff and bring down all the high level stuff so it's equally squashed. It should be able to let a lot of it breathe and then as you've been hearing, pull out just the frequencies rather than flattening the whole thing out. So it's two different ways of solving a problem. I think if I wanted a bass sound just to be a solid, consistent bass, I probably would use upward and expansion and compression and control it like that if I wanted it to sound more consistent. But if I wanted to take a double bass, a stand-up bass, or a really cool electric bass part and just control some of the unwanted booming kind of low notes and a bit of fret noise and stuff like that, this is a freaking gem. Now that I've used it, I think I'm going to have a lot of fun, using it in the right circumstances. We're just scraping the surface. I can see that it can do a heck of a lot of stuff. It might be something that I just use just to solve small problems on almost everything. We had 7 open. I didn't see any change in CPU usage, and it's completely in the box here. So, 7 instances on a mix, that's pretty good. I feel like if I got 20 open, it'd still run pretty smoothly. So that's a lot of opportunity, inside of a dense mix to solve a lot of issues. So wonderful work, Oeksound. You can, as usual, win one of 3 copies of this. You know what to do. Go to the link down below to enter to win one of 3 copies of Soothe2 by Oeksound. Thank you ever so much for watching. That was a lot of fun. This is a really stellar plugin, as they say. Stellar! Name the movie. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. Please stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and I look forward to seeing you all again another time. If you've been using Soothe2 and you want to give us some of your, more detailed use of it, please let us know below. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. We'll see you all again very, very soon.